in the Hangout. Okay.
Yep.
I should probably tweet now. Hello, everyone. This is episode something or other 281 of the OotiniCast. Chill is just getting his stream set up in OBS, and I thought I'd be later. I just had to have some guys in to fix our oven. Very domestic. But they took one look and said, yeah, we got to buy some parts and it'll take a week. So, oh well. So anyway, the good news is they weren't here for very long. I was fearing that they would have to turn off the house power rather than just the oven. Blah, blah, blah. Going onwards. On the show today, we have Mr. Blay. And, of course, our good friend Chill.
Hey, can anyone hear me? I can't tell if the settings are working correctly or not today.
Now, today Chill is running the Hangout, and he is also streaming. So he's specifically referring to people watching it on Twitch. So,
Test.
If you're watching on... Why don't I just check it myself?
What is this ad
Oh,
here?
God. OotiniCast.
Yeah, I can see the...
Yeah, he's muted. So, yeah, your audio's not coming through, Chill, on the Hangout. So, persevere a little bit, and if it's too hard, I will do it.
Let me see if I can get it working here.
All right. Bear with us in the meantime. Have you all seen the teaser trailers on Twitch? By the time I publish this show, this will probably be all overtaken by events, but you can determine whether our speculation was accurate, because it was a bit of a breakthrough on Reddit. I saw it earlier. Yeah, no video movement.
Test. I'm not seeing any green lines on my OBS, so I don't think this is
All
working.
right.
Hang on. Well, let's see. Is it working now? Is it working now?
Where's mine?
Test,
I just fired up a stream. Come on.
Yeah, I've seen 3 trailers so far. Are there any others that I don't know about?
Nah, it's just the 3.
Yeah, for some reason now the mic is it's not all gray. It's giving me the red lines. I can control the volume, but it doesn't matter because it's not actually giving me anything. It's just dead.
So be it.
Okay,
yes,
so you're going to do
I'm going to try. It will just take a little while to set up. It's not my usual window. All right, so preview stream.
Why is this not working?
Chill, position, refit the screen. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad, actually. All right, let me, if you stopped, I will start.
All right, stopping the stream.
Starting the stream. So, everyone, if you can, if the stream will probably stop and start again, and if it has, can you hear me? Or my settings screwed up? Let me just see. Audio, microphone. Yep, it's the right mic. Hello, working now. Lord Farseer, can you hear myself? And I've got to find that window I just opened.
Yep, they can hear you.
Test.
And assuming they're actually watching on Twitch. All right. Thank you, mate. Thank you, guys. All right, so I will just minimize that window. I think we're good. Chill.
All right.
Sorry about the black lines, but probably don't want to mess with it at this point. Actually, I can probably fix that.
Test. Okay.
Yeah.
The microphone seems to be messed up again. Let me refix that. Test. Okay, that's back to normal.
Made it worse. It's going to redline on me. All right, there we go. Let me just fix that. It's like a letterbox, sort of. All right. Now, Blake, can you please start recording? And Chill?
Yes.
Yes, I'm recording.
All right, just going to change my volume setting a little bit.
I'm checking my studio as well.
All right, thank you. I should still be on studio mode. I'm going to save my project in Audacity. 31. And my name is Test. Good. All right. I'll start recording a second. Cut back to 30 minutes. Yeah. Well, there isn't a lot to talk about today, so we'll probably keep this nice and short. Chill. Is your you locked? Is the camera locked on you? You have a white square around your portrait.
Nope.
Could you click on yourself?
Yep. And now I
Click
have a
off
white.
yourself.
Now I have a white box around my portrait, which means
Alright.
it's forcing.
Click off yourself.
Okay. Now you try.
Hello. All right, now click on me.
Okay. Now it's locked on you.
Still showing you though. Oh, this is weird. All right.
That's
this
weird.
did happen to us once, so I'm going to be miniature down here. Hi, everyone. So,
I don't know. You
yeah.
look big. You look normal to me.
What do you see, Blay?
Well, on the Hangout,
Oh,
it's
now you're big.
swapping, but on Twitch, it's not. On Twitch, it's staying on chill.
Yeah, okay, but I can see you big now. All right, well, whatever the hell is going on, I don't understand it. So, you get Mini Tio, and you get Mega Chill.
Mega
and
Chill.
Maybe. And Blay, who knows? Sometimes some of both. Blay, yeah, okay. It's just me. Just me. All right, let's stop screwing around. And why did my volume control just move? I am not in studio mode.
Yeah, it's probably because you're not actually controlling the Hangout. Tio.
And
if I was
your
able
volume.
to do it out, it would be normal.
Your volume just jumped, Chill.
Oh, God damn it!
Yeah.
All right. Well, it should still be studio. It is still, but yeah. And I did kill the. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, even though I have it on studio, it's still controlling my mic somehow. I've killed
okay.
OBS, so it's not OBS anymore. Ooh, it's really moving it too.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay, let me see.
Why
if I
can't
can...
anything be easy? This is why they pay us the big dollars, Blay.
Yeah.
Wait a sec. No, they should pay us the big dollars, I should say. Chill, what can I
Let me
see?
try. My exclusive mode was off. I'm going to try turning it on, see if that
All right.
actually helps. I don't
Okay.
know if it will, but test. No, still changing it. Just changed it as soon as I talked.
Are you using the usual browser by any chance?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's on Firefox.
All right. In that case, I'd suggest kill your window.
And you're going to restart the Hangout?
No, you do exactly what you did, and I believe you can just rejoin it once it's running.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, just give that. Don't click the Hangout button. No, actually, just close the window. Just close the window, and then click on the link again. Let's try that.
Okay. See you in a sec, hopefully.
Are we still here? It's like the counting down the bomb and defusing it, and are we still here? Yes.
Well,
Volume
it's
is-
always a case of Alt F4, turn off the PC, unplug it, go to the main junction box, take out the fuse, and then put it all back again.
Take out the fuse. That one I haven't heard before.
Oh yeah, you gotta be sure of these things.
Yeah. I see OotiniCast has joined the call. Hello, OotiniCast.
All right. Hello again. Test. It's in studio, and it doesn't seem to be moving the mic anymore, so yeah, your little trick worked.
Victory! When in doubt, restart. It's
That's right.
amazing how many as chill. But if it happens again, apparently taking the fuse out of your fuse box will fix everything, chill. So, all right. Sorry, everyone. We were trying to do things differently because I was probably going to be late or have to go away or switch off my power or some crap. So anyway, but we're good. Chill has
Yay.
saved the day. Let's do this. We've only got one tip of the week. There's no late breaking ones I saw.
Okay,
Just
well,
think for
that
late
makes that easy.
breaking. Yep. This is going to be a short show because last week was a real bitch to edit. So, and I got an assignment. Yeah, blah blah. All right.
And then next week will be tough too. So
Next week will be a long show because we will have lots of things to talk about.
yes.
Assuming they don't just play the cinematic trailer and then just drop the mic and walk off. So, which is possible. All right, Chill.
All right.
Make the magic happen.
Double
as it
checking
were.
my Audacity is
Shit.
still rolling. Yep. It looks good. Double check my mic. That's still at the right number. Yeah, looks fine. All right, going in 5. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast, the podcast that's straight out of the Journal of the Whills. This is episode 281, being recorded on Thursday, October 6, 2016. I'm your host, Chill, with our producer and co-host, Tio. Hi, Tio.
Hey, guys.
And our guest today is Blay. How you doing, Blay?
I'm good. How are you guys?
And what you been up to?
This week, I've been away for most of it, so I didn't get back until Tuesday. So it's really just been a case of just getting in there, doing a little bit more. The Dark versus Light event is the only thing that's going on in the game at the moment for me. I've got my 3rd character now up to level 50, so I'm about to do my 4th. And really, it's just a case of just filling in time, waiting for the new Quartet information, which, well, sitting down and watching the trailers.
Yeah.
Apart from that, there hasn't been a lot to do, really, in-game.
Sad but true. Now, you did achieve the Eternal tier, Blay, or did you not quite make it that far?
No, I've done that one. I've made it as far as...
it's
Eternal.
Legend that's the top one, isn't it?
Yes. And
Yeah,
that one
have
I
you-
might never do.
Yeah. So you're 4th 50, and so you've got 4 more to go?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Anything else? Have you done everything else? Every other single thing that's on the list?
No, I've got to do... Well, I'd have to do all the heroics. I'd have to do all the operations, all the world bosses. And at the moment, because I log into my guild and I'm either the only person there or there might just be 2 people there, really, to try and find a group then to go off and do all these events. It's a bit tricky, and it's not something I'd want to do per game.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm probably just not gonna bother, to be honest with you.
Fair
I'll
enough.
get the companion, and that's enough.
Sounds fair.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. Tio, how about your week?
Yeah, well, nothing to report. I've got an assignment due, but that will actually be the last assignment, and then I've got exams, but they're in a few weeks, so I may actually have some time to play.
Oh.
Who knew?
What kind of exams?
Just for my the grad cert I'm doing, graduate certificate I'm doing, so real-time
Nice.
systems, engineering practice, boring stuff like that. Though actually I really enjoy it, but anyway, work's been busy, challenging, and I'm travelling again next week to Adelaide, which I'm hoping will have power this time. Apparently they've been pretty good for a while, so should be okay. Thank you,
Right.
Sorter Evan, for the wish of good luck. And obviously, we are all really looking forward to the release of the information tomorrow.
Yes.
And I will hopefully watch it live. There were hints they're going to be streaming it, and I believe they may have said they were, the New York Comic-Con Cantina. So hopefully we'll be able to just watch it real time. And
great.
we'll live tweet, because that's what we do in the internet age. Anyway, that's my rather pathetic week. Anyway, over to you, Chill.
All right. Shout out to the chat room. And let me go ahead and pull up the list here. And Anog is here. Bill Show. Blay is here as Blachlach Gaming. Count Luku. Dispel53. Dreadx. Dragonblade 150. Elion D2. Farseer. Gahana. Gas Guy is here. Hey, Gas Guy. Hawk is here. Jagged Phil. Papavan. Kuze is here. Siska. Sledgester. Sorter Revan. And Trig PT. Hello, everyone. All right. This week, got a few streams in. Not quite as many as I was hoping. I was feeling poorly on, I think it was like last Friday, and had some other things going on later on. But I got a few in. All done with Chill Satan. He's all the way through the Kotfi chapter, so that's good. Now I'm back to Chill Santa, and he started at level 50. He's like level 51 or 52. I'm going to be leveling him via the flashpoints, because I have to do all the flashpoints for the event, and that'll easily get him up to 65. Should get most, if not all, of the flashpoints done as well. And then there's just a few little piddly things I need to do for the Eternal Championship, and make sure I have rank 5 on war zones and stuff like that. No big deal. So yeah, so definitely it feels like I'm in the home stretch, and I should easily be able to get this done before whenever they cut this off in, who knows?
Who knows?
Weeks. I still have
no
weeks
hint.
to do it, so it's all good. Yeah, so pretty basic, and yeah, and it's nice to get back to the Santa. I forgot I had left him in tanking stance or whatever, and I figure, well, it's probably just as well that I go ahead and do the flashpoints in tank, so that it's not 4 DPS trying to roll through some of these flashpoints. Which,
Roger.
yeah, we did Hammer Station, and that was actually relatively hard with no healer, just me tanking and then 3 DPS. So we wiped once or twice and had a few other assorted deaths, because it's actually, and this is just the basic tactical, but it's not necessarily easy. So without a healer, so it was still pretty fun. And it's nice to see these flashpoints that I really haven't done for a while. So
Right.
getting back to that is nice too. All right, so that'll be that, and on to the tip of the week. And we just have one tip this week. And Tia, why don't you go ahead and take it?
As soon as I tweet out about the show, and I will. All right. Now, the one tip that we have is from Dothak, a level 65 commando on the Shadowlands server. And thank you, Dothak, for answering the call. I put it out yesterday when we hadn't received any tips and thought this would be a really easy way for someone to score themselves a cartel pack and a mini pet. And Dothak did.
Yep.
So anyway, the tips, and he actually has 5 of them, 5
Wow.
individual mini tips. Always be prepared. Have med packs, adrenals, stims, PvP adrenals and med packs on you at all times. You never know when you might need them.
Mm-hmm.
So true. Keep your crafting materials in your legacy cargo bay. You'll be able to level your crew skills in no time, with all of your mats being accessible to all characters. Now,
Good.
I was certainly doing this for some things, but remember we only had the limited space until they let you stack those things up to some huge number which you will never ever fill. And that way it is now easy to get all the mats from all the crew skills into your legacy cargo bay. So
Right.
thank God for that. That was a great change. Next, don't start PvP at level 65. If you've already gotten to level 65, PvP on a lower character and transfer your Warzone comms, which you can now do legally and properly just by purchasing those items from the PvP vendor. No more PvP weapon swap dance or any of that crap. You'll live longer and have more overall fun once you have to 2018, which is the max, expertise.
Right.
PvP is a great way to hone and learn your character's abilities as you'll be in pressure situations. Now, just to emphasize that, if you do PvP as you're leveling, first you'll learn the war zones and how to play your character in PvP, which is always important, but you'll easily get enough Warzone comms to get at least the first tier, if not the second tier of PvP gear. Though if you're thinking of buying it anytime soon, I would definitely hold off for the expansion because, while we don't know, there is a really, really good chance there'll be a new tier of gear. So,
Yeah.
yes, just hold on to your comms because chances are they'll be exactly the same price as they are now. So, yeah, you'll be able to just buy yourself a full set. So anyway, accumulate your comms as you go, and then once you hit 65, just buy yourself the top level gear, and you'll be
Yes, and also Sotarista, who just joined the chat channel, has been doing a lot of PvP oriented academies recently. So check out her channel on YouTube, and also within this podcast.
good. And that continues in this very episode. Anyway, Dothak continues. Never hesitate to ask for help from other players. Yes, some people will be jerks, / ignore, but you'll find helpful people too. And that's so true. So true. Finally, before going into an operation for your first time, make sure to look it up online and read up the strategies or watch a video on it. Getting a better idea of how it works will help you in the long run. Remember, there's a lot of operations and they've, for the most part, been around for at least a couple of years, as much as 5 years in some cases. And so how to do them hasn't really changed. And so the strategies are very well understood at this point. So if you go looking for it, you should be able to find it. So thank you, Dothak.
All right. Well, by non-random assignment, the winner is Dothak. Or perhaps Dot Hack. I'm not sure if...
Yeah, I was just thinking that as well. Maybe it is dot
It
hack.
could be Dot Hack, but
Yes.
both are kind of good. Dothak sounds more Star Warsy, and then Dot Hack is sort of more cyber techy. Both good. Anyway, congratulations, you're the winner of a Ton Fawn or M83R droid pet code, courtesy of BioWare, and a new OotiniCast provided cartel market pack from the latest shipment. And if you'd like a chance to win the same, please send your tips to OotiniCast@gmail.com by next Wednesday. And that will bring us to the Holo feed. Tio?
Watch us milk this into at least half an hour of discussion. Anyway, so let's start with Game Update 4.7.2, which was released on Tuesday. Now, they start with mentioning the events that are happening this month. Firstly, Bounty Contract Week, surprise, surprise, is back, and is back right now and will end next Tuesday on the 11th of October. But then we have the Relics of the Gree, and they did let us know this would be happening when they announced the Dark versus Light event, and that will be from October 18th, which is from Tuesday week, all the way through to October 25th, so it'll be here for the usual week. Now, as far as we know, that may be the last time the Relics of the Gree event is here, so if you need that for the Dark versus Light event, this may be your one and only chance. I believe you have to kill the droids during the event.
Yes, 50 of them.
Yeah. So that's it. That's your chance. Now, speaking of the Dark versus Light event, I thought I'd just have a quick look at the page just to see where is that needle pointing between light and dark. And yeah, I don't think it's actually changed. Looks like no one's actually updated the page, or the stats haven't changed. 52.91% light, 47.09% dark. So even though the Heisenberg uncertainty principle states you can't actually determine what it's going to be without actually measuring it, well, I think we know which way this one's going to drop. So look for that light side companion.
Yeah, that
which
tiny
is the
little
chiss.
Yeah, that tiny little percentage is a massive amount of points at this point. It's just
And
not going to
given
go
it's
the other way.
An average over time, yes. So yes, it's just not going to change. Now, as far as what's in Game Update 4.7.2, well, not a lot really. Just reading through the patch notes, they're really just bug fixes for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Did any of them jump out at you?
The
No.
only one that confused me was the loincloth of the Wicked Huntress robe is no longer static.
The loincloth of the Wicked Huntress robe is no longer static. I assume that means it will now flap in the breeze.
Right.
Do you think
The
that's
loin-
more dangerous?
That's like the Valen type look, I believe, isn't it?
And it would
Where
look
there's a
really
robe,
weird
but
if it
then
was
there's
just
like
fixed.
a loincloth over it.
Yeah. Presumably it just doesn't move at the moment, which would just be weird. I'm not sure a flapping version is necessarily that more... Anyway. And now, finally, in war zones, there was leveling out of a PvP bracket, while in a war zone will no longer cause a player to be backfilled into the match, creating uneven teams. Oh, now that's interesting. So, on one side, you level out of the bracket, and the game, it sounds like, thinks, oh wow, they're one short of the number of characters of the appropriate level, and then they will stick someone else into that team. Ooh, well, that was a nice little bug. Cool. Of course, it would happen pretty rarely, because you'd have to level just on the bracket boundary, but nice. Anyway, so that's been fixed. Now, we do have some posts on the forums. Firstly, about the double-bladed saber. Apparently, it's got bigger. There was a stealth increase, according to a official forum author,
Right.
to the size of all the old non-cartel market double-bladed lightsabers, they say. They also increased the size of some of the older cartel market ones to match the new ones in size. There was a reason we liked the old ones. They were smaller. Satil Shan's lightsaber was already huge. Now it's even bigger. They look terrible and horribly disproportionate to our toons. I don't like the new lightsabers because they look like ridiculously oversized maglights. And now the saber staffs are that size too. Should be saber staves. I don't know if this was intentional or if it was a bug, but in my opinion, this change needs to be reversed immediately. Right, anyway, the response from Tate was, this is not a stealth change of the size of dual sables, don't worry, this is a bug. With the data that sets the size of the weapon. Gee, that was interesting. It's actually happening to all weapon types, but it's just most noticeable with dual sabers. And they're going to have their engineers look at it and hopefully fix it soon.
Yes, I was actually noticing this on my stream the other day. I was doing the final chapter on Chill Satan, who uses a dual saber, and it was really big, and it was so big that in the cutscene, there's like this one moment where Arkin's like attacking you with his lightsaber, and I'm blocking it supposedly with the blade of my lightsaber, but the saber's so big that he was actually hitting the hilt. So it's clearly not what they had
God.
planned for that cutscene. Yeah.
So it's that big, the
Yes.
increase?
Yes,
wow.
it looks like Maglite is. I mean, it's bigger than a Maglite though. It's like I don't know. It's like a fence post, man. It's really big.
What's that sport that you have in Scotland, Blaze?
Saber tossing.
Cabers?
Caber tossing.
Cabers,
That's right. Caber
yeah.
tossing. Right.
You can't throw sabers. That'd be very dangerous.
That'd be
Even in
dangerous
Indeed.
Scotland.
too. Caber tossing
So-
doesn't sound much safer though.
If you've never seen it, it looks like you're taking a light pole, a rather really big stump of a tree, and trying to carry it and then throw it. Now those crazy Scots. Anyway, what else? All right, next, apparently,
I got sabers on the
Apparently.
brain.
no phallic references, please. All right. Now, according to Eric Musco, it seemed that, I believe with maintenance, what they did on Tuesday, they banned a huge number of credit sellers. So what Eric said was, when it comes to credit sellers, they often do a large takedown at one time. This makes it so that they can have the largest impact, so you just hit them all at once, rather than just doing it in increments, allowing them to basically try to change their tactics so they can avoid detection and thus the consequences. With today's maintenance, we acted on a few different initiatives, according to Eric, to help curb the in-game chat and mail spam of credit sellers, and it had been getting worse, apparently.
Okay.
And some examples of what they did today was banning of thousands of credit selling accounts, closing a loophole in an existing promotion that allowed credit sellers to quickly and easily make accounts that could send you in-game mail and access the
And
fleet.
access the
Boo! Right.
Right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, you're supposed to only have access to those sorts of things if you've either played the game for a while, or which takes some time. Or if you're a subscriber and stuff like that. So, yeah, it sounds like there's some sort of promotion that was giving them that sort of subscriber-style account.
Oops. So anyway,
Yeah.
this looks like they fixed that. Made adjustments to some existing automated functions to better catch credit sellers. Okay. As in, okay. Probably detection of certain character combinations in chat, or when people were spamming, yelling, whatever. And more. And they don't want to reveal everything they're doing, obviously. Keep in mind, when it comes to catching credit sellers, Eric says, as we make adjustments, so do they. It's a constant game of cat and mouse. But as it is, it's one that we'll continue to focus on aggressively. So please, and he goes on to say, please continue to report spammers and credit sellers as you see them with the report spam option in chat and with your mail. And of course, if they could prevent having that little pop-up come up after you've made the action saying, yep, you've reported them, that would be fantastic as well, because that's really annoying. Okay, so that was what they did. So, Chill, have you noticed were you getting spammed for a lot, and has that changed in the last few days?
A lot. Not
Or you
necessarily
play.
a lot, but usually every time I'm doing a stream, there'll be like one or maybe two pieces of mail that's from a spammer. Not usually popping up much during this session though, so it's not too bad. But yeah, there's enough of them out there that I'm glad that they're taking action.
I think there was a point where I was actually getting more spam mail with credit sellers than I was actually getting in-game mail from doing missions.
Right.
It was getting really, really annoying. I just stopped looking at my mail. I think one of my characters has got something like 47 emails to read, because I just don't bother looking at the mail anymore.
Oh, and by the way, I didn't imply that Blay was Scottish, I hope. Did I?
No, you just
No,
asked the
good.
question because I'm from the UK and I would...
You would know about your fellow, well, what do you...
Yeah.
Anyway. Fellow members of the United Kingdom. fellow Brits, shall we say. All right. Now, someone also asked Eric, in relation to the credit spammers, do you know how many credits that were deleted with their accounts? So what Eric says was, the answer is a bit complicated. What most of you associate credit selling with are the in-game mail and messages you receive, as in the spammers. But that's only part of the networks associated with credit sellers.
Right.
The question is actually related to the distributors, which are the accounts that are holding, hiding, and constantly moving the credits. And they're not the same accounts as the people doing the spamming.
Right.
That being said...
Yeah, that makes sense.
That being said, we aren't going to go into detail on the trillions of credits that we just took out of the game with this wave of action.
Wow. But they think it's in the trillions. That's pretty amazing.
Cool. So that's a good thing. None of us are going to argue about taking out credit spammers. Or sellers, for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. So clearly, those group of people believe there is an industry in selling credits to SWOTOR players, so SWOTOR can't be doing that badly. It's when the credit sellers disappear that you know that things really are a bit rough. But no, sounds like the game's perfectly healthy in that regard, at least. All right, let's talk Bruce McLean. Now,
Yeah.
I met Bruce when we visited Bioware back in November 2014. Chill, you've obviously met him in person, of course. Apparently he's moved on. Now, he was a senior producer. We saw him in the live streams quite often. But as of February this year, so quite a few months ago, he has actually moved on to be the studio general manager based in Salt Lake City.
Right. For Electronic Arts. So
Still for EA, so he's within the company. But
not in BioWare specifically anymore.
Now, Bioware classically never tell us when people move all around internally, and nor should they. There's just no reason for them to. But I suppose it is about the time we saw a lot of Ben Irving and Charles Boyd in the streams. So that does kind of make sense. So Ben Irving, who was there when we visited as well, obviously has been promoted into his position. This happens in companies. People move around and move on. I kind of miss Bruce, but Ben seems to be doing a great job, and of course he is Australian, so...
Is that a bonus? Or?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
There's so many expats, Australians all over the world. Anyway. Especially in the games industry. There is a healthy games industry in Australia, but people often travel overseas for all kinds of stuff, because there's a lot more work in the US and Europe.
Yeah.
So anyway, good luck, Bruce. Clearly
Yeah.
he's doing okay.
I wonder what exactly the studio GM does. I wonder.
Well, let's see. Jeff Hickman. Now, he was I believe he was a producer at some point running SWOTOR. He is currently the GM for the BioWare Austin studio and a general manager. And Matthew Bromberg was the general manager before him. Matthew Bromberg eventually got promoted to be VP, and now he's actually left, and I think he's working for Zynga. Yeah, anyway, so people move around. But yeah, the GM seems to be the person overall in charge of the entire studio, as opposed to a particular game within it.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. All right. So I haven't quite buried the lead, but this is the coolest part. Now, by the time you hear this on our podcast, the actual real Blur trailer for Knights of the Eternal Throne will no doubt have been released, and so all of this is basically overtaken by events. So consider this some historical speculation, and you can score us out of 10 to tell us how well we did. So, as we know, tomorrow, Friday, at New York Comic Con, at the Community Cantina associated with it, they will release the Blur trailer for Knights of the Eternal Throne, which will no doubt be awesome, and will tell us all about the actual expansion that we can expect sometime towards the end of the year. In the lead up to that, they have, over time, released 3 teaser trailers, a few seconds from the Blur trailer. Now, the first one they tweeted out. The second one was actually part of the Star Wars show, an internet show that I believe we've mentioned in the past, and they cover all kinds of stuff to do with Star Wars. And they actually did have a second clip from the trailer, and just today they have released a third clip. So let's speculate, shall we? Firstly, A dangerous Star Wars family grows stronger was a caption. And this is the Chamber cinematic teaser. And in it, you see what looks like a child who vaguely looks like Arkin and Thexan when they were kids.
Right.
Though it's got that sort of creepy young child SWTOR look that we just seem to have in the game itself and for whatever reason. The child is bald. The gender is indistinguishable. You could probably guess it's a boy, but potentially a girl. It's a bit hard to say. The figure is seated, cross-legged, and is surrounded by hooded figures. And there appear to be planets or round objects being levitated around them, which presumably via the Force. And if I look at the image that they tweeted out today, or actually they tweeted out yesterday, the figure appears to be hovering, probably using the Force as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, speculation, who the hell is the kid, has been rampant, and the tattoos that the figure has on their arm appears to match very closely the figure that we saw in the only image that they'd given us before this for Knights of the Eternal Empire, the one who appears to be facing someone who looks a lot like, and in fact is, Senya.
Okay.
In that image. So it's pretty much certain now. Senya is, and the reason for that, Blay pointed this out to me, Dolphy did a preview of the items in the upcoming scavenger pack. And one of them is Senya's saber staff, exactly the weapon that the figure is wielding. And even though we know that Senya is using a regular lightsaber at the moment, unlike the rest of the Eternal Knights, clearly Senya now has a saber staff. Or saber pike.
Yeah, I was about to say it's called a saber pike, which I think I want. I think it's the one weapon I actually want to get. So it actually looks quite cool.
Now, people are saying that kid is Valen, a young Valen. Maybe we're going back into Valen's backstory. Definitely possible. Definitely possible. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, it's not, and I'll explain why. But anyway, now the second one that appeared during the Star Wars show it's a gantry. And there's Senya with a lightsaber, and confronting them, a bunch of robe figures, which may or may not be the same robe figures that we saw with the bald kid. Mm-hmm. Yep, have lightsabers, just regular lightsabers. They both light them up, and they do battle. Now, what was not clear, and I certainly completely missed this, someone on Reddit by the name of... I wrote it down somewhere... Nihux, Nihux, spotted behind Senya is a child. In fact, the same child, a bald child. And it looks like that child is... So this isn't a flashback, it's actually the kid is in the scene with Senya. Now, this could be a flashback when Senya was younger, though why is she wearing exactly the same clothes as she is in the other trailer and da-da-da. So anyway... The speculation is that, well, whatever, that kid behind Senya is the one that we saw in the first teaser. So, again, who is the kid? Could it be a young Valen? Possibly. Not? I don't know. Any thoughts?
I would love it to be Valen, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Because remember, the caption for that first one was, a dangerous Star Wars family grows stronger. Now, we assume they mean the Arkin, Thexan, Valkorian, Valen,
right.
da-da-da.
And
and therefore, one of them. But maybe it's someone else. Someone's child, maybe? Senya or Valkorian had another child. Oh, wow. Could it be a long-lost sibling or some sort of nephew or niece of the current round of kids? Don't know. And if that's the same figure in the trailer that we saw, they're kind of grown up. So, what's going on? Yes, indeed. Now, finally, we had one more teaser that was released today. And that was basically Senya surrounded by a lot of figures, and it looks like that is the same scene that we see in the single image that has been revealed for Knights of the Eternal Throne. So it looks like the lead up to that scene.
Right.
Because you see Senya surrounded by dead bodies, looking up, looking around, and there is a figure walking towards them. That is the robe figure. Now, looking at the way that figure walked, it's still hard to pick the gender because you only get a glimpse. Sort of looks kind of female in the way they were walking. I thought Valen, actually, the first time I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe not. So it's all kind of mysterious at this point. So I'd say there's maybe a 60% probability that it's Valen in that scene, but chances are there's a new player. Like, who the hell is this kid? Yeah. Any other thoughts, Blay or Chill?
Well, regardless of where she comes in exactly, I'm pretty sure that Valen's going to come into it pretty well anyway, because just at the end of chapter 16, she has this big moment, and there's a big, change in the whole galaxy that involves her. So I would hope that she comes in to the full video at some point. Whether she's one of these characters, I don't know, but I'm thinking that she's got to come in at some point, and that she's going to be important in Kotet in general.
Right.
I would love it to be Valen, and the whole sort of thing with the first video was it was a flashback to when Arkin and Vexen were children,
Right.
and then it showed them getting, older and older, and the only way to know that any time had really passed was a little bit of grey in Valkorian's beard. You don't get a close enough look at Valen throughout any of these videos to be able to see if Valen's actually getting older throughout each of the clips. So it could be that it's actually spread over time. It could be that that's a younger version of Senya.
Right.
The only thing that's always confused me about Senya is that she carries a blue lightsaber, and everybody else in the entire galaxy over that side all carry yellow.
Yellow, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, something else I wanted to mention that also in the Scavengers pack, along with the lightsaber pike that belongs to Senya, is the Force Disciple's armor set, which you could say potentially sort of looks like the gear worn by that figure if you really want to stretch your imagination a little bit, but kind of doesn't. But what the hell is a Force Disciple? I actually looked that up to see if there was some reference to that anywhere, and nope, not that I could find. Does that ring any bells with anyone? What's a Force Disciple?
No idea.
News to me.
Interesting.
I mean, you could only speculate based on, just the word disciple.
Yeah, I mean, who are those guys with lightsabers confronting Senya with the kid in that scene? Interesting. Now, Rachel Zamzam did a post where she speculated about who the child should be. Some interesting theories there. Well, really, it could be anyone is basically her conclusion. The Valen obviously came up as a possibility. Darth Malgus, obviously. Well, maybe not. Kephas. You've always got... You can never discount Kephas.
That's right. Never count him out.
Blacklock thinks it's a patron from the Deathgate cycle. I haven't read those books in a long time, Blay. That's a blast from the past.
But they were covered in tattoos.
True. That's true. And Swadarista says, I think Force Disciple just means she is connected and studying the Force. Well, yeah, that does kind of make sense, doesn't it? What else? Any other speculation from the room? Swadarista also says, Valen makes a baby with Scorpio, the heir to the throne. Ew. Oh, that's just... Ugh. Kuzay thinks Force-born brat for the Emperor to inhabit. Swadarista also said, maybe another sibling. Yeah, I mean, that's a logical thing. But they just have not mentioned anything like that, which doesn't mean a damn thing. You can always just throw that in later. Kai Zyken, no, let's just not go there.
I just hope it doesn't end up being the Outlander's child, and you end up by the end of the chapter playing the child. That would be sort of please no.
No, God, no. As fun as it was playing as HK55, let's not do this. Let's play as someone else thing again. It was a nice experiment. And also the child does bear some resemblance to Eric Musco, which has been pointed out. So by Shadow, that's Larry Everett. And he does have a point, but probably Probably not.
So does Arkin, though. So
That's true too. It all comes back to Eric. All right, now, any other further speculation? This was fun. I know we won't talk about it anymore because, as I said, by the time you see this, we'll all know. And we'll talk about it lots next week to see how right or wrong we were. All right. And that's the news.
all right, that'll bring us to the Academy. And this week, Sotarista continues her PvP series with a detailed overview of the 8v8 Warzone Novar Coast. Thank you, Sotarista. And that will bring us to the Force Feedback, where we read out your tweets and emails. And Blay, did you want to read your email that you wrote?
Oh, no, you could... All right, go ahead, Blake.
No, go ahead. You guys do a better Welsh accent than I do sometimes. It's quite fun.
Oh, let me do it.
Okay, good.
No, I'm not going to do a Welsh accent. Because it sounds Scottish or... no, anyway. I listened to show 280 and heard you read the codex for the Vibromop. Within the codex, it says the Vibromop is used throughout the galaxy. Wait, what? Throughout the galaxy? Many, many shows ago, Tio read through the official guidelines given to writers of Star Wars novels. Within the guidelines, it states that writers should not use absolutes such as biggest, because someone could come along and always make something bigger, or such general statements as throughout the galaxy, because some races on some planets could do things differently. Do codex writers not play by the rules? What do you think? How's that play?
That's very
Did
good.
it capture the... yeah, anyway.
I think in this case it's sort of an exception to that rule because first of all it's meant sort of lightheartedly, so it's not as serious as if they were talking about like a major figure or an important piece of technology. We're talking about the equivalent of as seen on TV sort of equipment, so not terribly important.
It set my OCD off so badly I had to go to the chair and walk around the room.
It was tongue-in-cheek, Blay. It was comedy. Comedic license can get away with anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
And throughout the galaxy, I think is also not terribly, not too worrisome in this case. If there's a planet where you don't need a mop, then because it's like Tatooine's too dry or something, then then they just won't use it there. But it's not like it wouldn't be available.
I'll put my OCD down on this one then.
Good.
All right. Charlie wrote in, and is this Kranatoko or?
Yes, it is.
Excellent. All right. Charlie Kranatoko wrote in. The Manipulator pack opening video is here 2 months after the last one. The wallet had a break. And I can't wait to see that. I missed that, so I will definitely be checking that out.
I'll include a link in the show notes. Of course, there's always Charlie's channel, which you should be subscribed to.
Mm-hmm. I am, but somehow I didn't see that video.
Okay.
It must have gone past me at some point when I wasn't looking. All right. Fravar wrote in. Hello, Fravar. I hope you guys get to offer story feedback early enough for BioWare to change things that don't work this time round.
Referring to our presence on the closed PTS, which we may or may not have been taking advantage of, and probably not. So obviously we can't talk about that beyond the fact that if you think about how these things are done, with all of the recording work already done ages ago, the chance of influencing story, just theoretically, hypothetically here, would be pretty minimal at this point. I'm not sure what they could tweak, if anything.
Well,
that kind of stuff is locked down.
Yeah, you can tweak things, but yeah, boy, goodness, anything major is going to be a real pain in the butt for them to change. So.
Yeah, so fortunately, or fortunately, we don't know yet, we're stuck with the story as it is.
Mm-hmm. All right, Cannabis Soft wrote in. Hello, guys. I just got back into SWTOR. I have some questions. Is it odd that I'm preferred status player and earning massive XP to the point that I'm starting out on planets around 10 levels higher than the enemies? I'm playing like I used to, doing all the missions, since I'm higher than normal level for doing heroics. Also, what will my level cap be if I have not purchased any expansions since the Hutt Cartel? Let's go ahead and answer these while we're going on. If you're doing all the missions, including the planetary arcs along the way...
The exploration ones, and the exploration ones.
Yeah, and the exploration ones especially. If you're... Yeah, you should be able to... even with preferred status, if you're doing the world arc and your class story arc, that should pretty much keep you on track. And if you're hitting all those other side missions as well, yeah, you are going to get ahead for sure. For sure.
Right. Easily.
Yeah.
Because they've changed the leveling curve to make it so easy to level.
Right. No mention of flashpoints or anything, but if you're doing that, then it pops you even faster. So.
Now, if you haven't bought an expansion since Hard Cartel, I believe you will be locked to level 55, if that's how it works. But actually, I don't know. They could have changed it so you always get through to 65 at this point.
Yeah, I'm not sure at this point.
And if you sub, you'll be automatically unlocked all the way through. So you'll get everything. So sub for a month and you will literally get every X-Pack and all the way through the current Kotfi story.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. And another question, as a non-subscriber, can I access my escrow account? Yes, you can. Yes. There are unlocks for those. And
you can purchase from the cartel market for cartel coins. And they'll just unlock a certain fixed amount of credits, and which obviously you can unlock from your account, and each one is one time only. So no way to unlock the account, unfortunately, for non-subs.
Right. If you're doing it regularly, it's probably better just to subscribe at that point. So, and what is a good place to pick up your podcast so I can get filled in on all the new stuff? Well, off of our website, you can go to iTunes, you can go to Stitcher, you can check out the raw feed on YouTube. All those are good.
I'd recommend, if you wanted to catch up with what's happened recently, there's a tag on the right-hand side that shows you called Kotfi, for Knights of the Fallen Empire. If you click on that, you'll get all the episodes which I've tagged as being the most relevant to our Kotfi coverage. Would probably be a good way to pick up those episodes at least. Or just hang around, because everything might change once they announce what's happening with Kotet.
All right. And Java Doggy Starbucks of our own Utini Rage wrote, well, I finished the Dark vs. Light Eternal level and have some time to kill, so I finished my Imp Stronghold to 100%. Got me thinking, why not use some of these new planets that we see for 30 minutes and then never again for rep grinding missions to finish out old reps that we can't get anymore, like the Interplanetary Component Exchange or Freebooters Trade Union. Also, maybe some new non-guild-sized strongholds. I would love a pirate stronghold on Rishi or an underwater glass-walled stronghold on Manan. Bringing life back to SWTOR doesn't always have to be about the latest expansion or new raids. Food for thought for BioWare.
I like that idea. It's work, though, a lot of work to actually build a new stronghold.
True. I mean, they've done it, though, a few times, so...
Yeah.
And I definitely... I know that for... I mean, there's certain ones that just sort of come cropping up every time that people talk about it, and Manan is definitely one of them. Rishi is definitely one of them. Usually Alderaan gets mentioned a lot as well. So there's just a few planets that if they do another stronghold, it's likely going to be one of a pretty small number. I think a lot of people would love to see Manan just because of all the cool water effects that you could have.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, and let's see. Java Doggy also writes, what is the best guide to cleaning up my missing galactic history? I see some guides, but don't know if it's imp or pub until I get there.
Well, depends what you mean. If you mean the galactic history that was sort of released leading up to the beginning of SWTOR, there were the videos that were released on YouTube from the readings of the Codex entries, I believe. And when you asked for that, that's what immediately came to mind. And I've linked the single video which does it all in one hit. So you can watch that. It's about 45 minutes long, and we'll just read through all of your galactic history, from basically explaining how we got to SWTOR. Now, beyond that, there is the Wikipedia page, which has been kept pretty much up to date, and if you read through that, you will get the plot of everything leading for all the class stories, everything you possibly want. Will explain everything. As usual with Wikipedia and the SWTORpedia, the Wikipedia, people have spent too much time putting it all down, which is greatly appreciated and extremely useful. But yeah, aside from that, not really sure if there's more specific guides.
Right. In chat, Hawk is asking, do you think they're going to add Kashyyyk back to the game? I'd love to see a revisit from KOTOR.
We did visit it in the original KOTOR. I don't think it appeared in KOTOR 2 from memory, but I don't know. It's a sort of awkward place because it's all like trees. And if you remember in KOTOR, you actually get down to the ground, which apparently, according to Wookiee lore, is extremely dangerous. But it would be cool, wouldn't it?
It would be. That would be also a very cool stronghold.
Yeah, I can't see why they can't do it.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, and Shamara of Utini Knights writes, so do you guys think that we'll be able to customize our companions in the new expansion? Being able to customize companion gear would be a great start. Currently there are 101 Lana Benicos running around, and each and every one is identical. It'd be nice to customize her outfit. I've heard several people express concern with the customization for Lana. Several people would simply like to put her in the slave bikini and run her around, very unfitting to the character. But none of the new companions can even change the look of their gear. And apart from their gear, it'd be nice to be able to change their face with a companion customization slot.
Now,
it's true. Yeah, it's true. Those newer ones from the Kopfi chapters, most of those are like that. So.
You know, this shocked me because I have been running on the assumption that I didn't mind the gear that my Lana Benico was wearing, so I never actually bothered to see if I could change it. Then I looked on her companion customization screen, after reading this, and said, no, you can't.
That's right.
And then I checked every other companion that we got with Kotfi. All of them are just like that, including Theron Shan, and even these weird alien ones from the ones we pick up at the Star Fortress
the Star
side.
Fortress ones and all?
Yes, all of them. Every single one. The only companions that are customizable are the ones that we had pre-Kotfi, as in the original class companions that have basically just joined the Alliance crowd.
Right. So when you get Galt Renault back and so on, you can customize him.
Now, companion gear is, as we know, completely cosmetic. Why don't the new companions allow you to customize your appearance? Shamar's right. What's going on? Why? What are they afraid of?
Right.
Now, Sweaterista says, I dislike seeing companions in Power Rangers pink and purple and bikini suits. They would just never wear those things themselves. So it is protecting us against ourselves, but it's... Players should be able to customize the companions however they like, even if it is law-breaking, as she says. Yeah. Or Tyre says, why not introduce Alana customizations to give her the look she had in Shadow of Revan? You mean the one where she had a cold?
Where she had a cold, yes.
Yeah, she never did get over that. Until now.
Yeah, she had a sort of built-in Rakul effect. Rakul Plague, the customizations you can apply to your characters. She had it kind of built in at the start.
Zen says I would need to check how the outfits appear in cutscenes, which is true, but does it really matter? Sure, they can look ridiculous, because we've all done that when gear mattered for companions, we had to stick whatever onto them, and yes, they look really silly in cutscenes sometimes, but that's just an aesthetic choice. What looks silly to some people, the Power Ranger suit, for example, may look perfectly normal to other people who are a little deranged, but again, personal choice.
How would that have been different to levels 1 to 50 with the characters? There's no difference.
How do you mean?
Well, they never bothered with the worry of characters being able to do or look as they were in the game in the cutscene throughout those chapters. So surely if they can make a character wear whatever they're wearing in game in the cutscene for levels 1 to 50, they can do it for these extra characters in Coffee.
Yes, and you're right. It's an entirely an aesthetic choice. As far as we can tell, they're all just rendered real time using the character models, because that's how our characters are rendered.
Right.
We're using whatever gear we happen to be wearing, which could be literally anything. And so there is no reason. Now, Sweaterista mentions she would assume that it was to make them look better in cutscenes, with the new type of cinematic cutscenes with a moving panning camera and all that, the other stuff that makes it look cool. Probably true, but again, so what? So what? It's your choice if you want to make them look silly, in my opinion. Anyway.
All right.
Yeah, I think they should change it.
Okay, we've got a good email here from Jeff. Greetings.
I'll admit I have not edited this down, so let's just see how it runs.
Okay. Jeff writes, greetings. Running through the Dark vs. Light event, I noticed that some of the flashpoints are soloable, and some are not, unless I'm missing something somewhere. For example, I was able to run through the Foundry and False Emperor with the Jesus droid, but when I attempted to run through Hammer Station, I got my butt handed to me around the second corner. Yes, that's where all those nasty droids are all together. That was one of the places I had troubles with on the tactical version. I remember back a few months ago I was able to run through those old flash points because my level was so much higher than the level of flashpoint. I thought with this new event that one should be able to choose to run the flashpoints solo or in groups. Is this the case, or am I missing something?
You are not missing something, because they deliberately only chose a subset of the flashpoints, the story-specific ones, such as the ones to do with the Revan story, which is which is the Foundry and Maelstrom Prison, etc., and the False Emperor to do with the Malgus story, of course. But aside from that, there are things like Hammer Station, given they're not sort of part of the story arc, or a big story arc in their own right. They're just flashpoints they've left as they are. Tacticals, or obviously the full-on hard mode, which, as Jill points out, Hammer Station Tactical isn't soloable, and they all level sync now, so yes, you can't even out-level them anymore.
Right. It depends on how many months ago he was talking about, but yeah, it was super easy once upon a time, even with the level sync, and then I think it got a little harder when Coffee was sort of launched, and and then they bumped everything up quite a bit.
Now, Pseudo-Arista has a list of flashpoints and what's available for tacticals and solo. I believe we talked about this when she put it out at the time. Pseudoarista.com/flashpoints will give you a clear list of which ones are soloable. So yes, no, Jeff, you are not missing anything.
Yeah, so there's some tricky ones to solo for sure. Let's see, and Jeff continues, I do believe they should make all flashpoints soloable for those who can't or don't or can't group. What I mean by this is that there are individuals who maybe don't have enough time in their life to wait on a group, or maybe an individual who just likes being a loner, or an individual with a disability like myself. I'm not saying that groups don't matter, so they should keep that an option, but maybe add some exclusive item drops as an incentive to run it as a group. In my case, it's a bit different. I'm legally blind, and play the game to the best of my ability. Having a group with a lot going on is hard for me to keep up on. The chat is non-existent in my gameplay due to the fact that I can't see it without my magnifying glass, and it scrolls by too fast. Interesting. By the time I'm asked to do something, it is usually too late, and bad things may happen. So, for the sake of the ones who like grouping, I leave it to them so that I am not a bother. When I first started playing SWTOR, I remember I had an issue to where I was not able to progress my storyline unless I defeated Darth Scotia. Later, I learned that my companion was under-equipped, and that if I had him geared up, I would have done just fine alone, but I was learning the game. Anyways, I shouted out to general chat for assistance, and a player answered back that he would help. Well, I had no idea that I had to share the quest, so he took me through the steps of how to do it through options. I took too long because I could read fast and had a hard time finding where he wanted me to click. So he disbanded and ran off. I messaged him back apologizing for wasting his time and explained myself why it took so long. He understood and came back, and we ran the fight through. I felt bad for wasting his time, so I just decided to play alone. I don't want to feel like a burden on other players. Because of my condition, I will be excluded from completing certain aspects of the game because it forces you to group up. I can understand some aspects being group mandated, but large open events such as this should be open to all with multiple playstyles. Otherwise, they will exclude some loyal players for a game that they pay for, like myself. I've been a subscriber since the beginning and would like to play as much of the content as I can. As it stands, unless I'm missing something, I will only be able to reach the 3rd tier and no more. I do know that there are voice chat systems, but then again it doesn't help me because in a group you still need to be looking around and playing your role in the group, and this takes decent vision.
So true, isn't it? Of course, for any kind of disability like that, we just don't think about it, because unless you have that disability, you can't really experience what it's like. It's like with our friend Martin and his fibromyalgia, and just how literally painful that is for him to play.
Right. And it's tricky. I mean, they do try to make as much of the game accessible for as many people as possible. I mean, it's certainly with the adding of all the tacticals and the solo and so on, they've they've made a lot of the content a lot more available, but yeah, and it becomes difficult for when you have someone who wants to do something, but it makes it has a difficulty in doing it.
It means they really, well, I guess, especially from my point of view, given I have limited time to play now, I would also like that everything had at least a solo option. Sure, obvious for group play, for people who do want to play with their friends, offer that as an option. But having some kind of solo version of it would seem to be, if not mandatory, then certainly in the way they're going with the game. Why not? Why not?
Right.
Provide the MMO bits for sure, but wherever possible, let solo players do their thing too.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a flashpoint where the mechanics of the boss would absolutely stop a solo. At the moment, I can't think of one.
Yeah. With the
Yeah.
Jesus droid, you should be okay.
Should be okay, and even if you're on trash like that, where the fight's not going to reset, you should at least be able to take down some of the group and then come back and take care of the rest of the group, after the wipe, if that's what happens.
Right.
Yeah, it gets tricky. I mean,
Even if it's more challenging, that's okay.
yeah. And then, after that, you got, I don't know. I know that I've been having to relearn all my cooldowns since I started doing the flashpoints again, because I kind of got lazy about it. When a lot of the solo content is pretty easy at this point, and especially when you're way over leveled for it. So which Jill Satan was. I mean, I was 65, like I think at chapter 1 or 2 or something like that.
Right.
And it's just running through all these chapters with the enemies being 3 and 4 and 5 levels, almost 5 levels below sometimes. But then in flashpoints, then yes, it's all of a sudden, oh, okay, yeah, defensive cooldowns and offensive cooldowns, and yeah, in those characters' cases, stealth. So yeah, it's all good. It's all good to know, but there's gonna be. Yeah, but Hammer Point is just a tough one anyway.
Yeah.
The tune I just leveled has absolutely zero armorings, mods, or enhancements. The only things he's got is a earpiece, 2 implants, a main hand with a crystal, and an offhand, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been going through trash like there's no tomorrow.
Yep. But they've made it very clear that they have changed it, so they changed the game to make it easier. Always.
Let's see. And Jeff continues here. For those who say that grouping is necessary in SWTOR, I say just don't think of yourself and think that others out there would like to enjoy the same content but played it in a different way that they would like. Even in the Star Wars universe, there are loners throughout the galaxy. That's true. The same can be in the game we all love. Make content soloable, but at the same time keep the group content to give extra rewards. Thank goodness I was able to clear the hard modes required to get HK51, because at the time my level exceeded the level of the flashpoints. Otherwise, I would still not have HK51, and that would be another aspect of the game that I would be excluded from. Just please be understanding and make content available for all to enjoy, and maybe again add more steps to complete for soloists as opposed to groupers. That makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
the next step, I mean, would be like sort of like a super story content version of the, where you're technically finishing the flashpoint, but everything is absolutely one-shottable, wipeable.
Right.
Where you're just doing it in order to see, or rather, BioWare is making it just so that you can see every flashpoint or every whatever.
Yep.
They could make it so that the content is just super easy. But you do have to run it, take the time to run it, and at least get to see it, and then get some sort of rewards, and maybe advancing through dark versus light or whatever.
I agree.
Let's see. And Jeff also says, thanks to Fabro Jedi, I hope it is a name, and it is, for explaining the world of disabilities in gaming. He inspired me to tell my tale here and to explain my concerns. Your loyal fan, Jeff, aka Draknir Dark Knight of Jedi Covenant, and Voldemnir, my dark versus light character.
Nice.
Very nice. And P.S. Do you think that Kotet might be the last expansion before SWTOR goes to SWTOR 2? Think about it. The Jedi and Sith have been playing nice in the sandbox for far too long, and we know that they are mortal enemies, and this can't go on for long. What better way to end a story and start a new chapter than finishing up with Kotet? I know there's no evidence for this, but thought I would throw it out.
Oh, will there ever be a SWTOR 2? Well, we still have no hint. No hint. Well, no hint that that's going to happen. But
No hint.
so, no, honestly, based on everything we know at the moment, we can't say this will ever happen. As far as we can tell, they're going to keep riding the Kotet, SWTOR thing for a while. But we also know that this whole story thing started with Coffee, will finish with Kotet, and then we'll see. He could be right.
Yeah,
He really could.
it's true. I think SWTOR 2 would be amazing because they could get it onto the current
Frostbite engine. Yep.
And I think that's one of the things that has been sort of a bit of a thorn in their side for some time. But it was what it was available when they had to start. So, but it's kind of a shame that such a good engine came out and sort of has been so useful in so many games. And unfortunately, SWTOR was not able to participate in it.
You could argue the photorealistic look that you get with the Frostbite engine is just too detailed and would sort of hit that whole uncanny valley thing, and SWTOR does sort of is because of its particular look being sort of more cartoonish. But then again, you could probably do that with Frostbite engine as well and have a whole lot more power as well. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now, just some notes from the chat room. Suki mentioned the HK51 mission, as he's mentioned before with us, I think, are now soloable, because the flashpoints you need to do both have solo modes now, and you can get them. You don't have to go into the hard mode.
Right, that's right. They changed that. They changed that.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, it had to be that one hard mode for one, and then I think you could do it on the regular mode for the other.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yes.
now you can do it on the solo, which is great.
And the starship you have to visit early on.
Oh, that's so much fun. The haunted
what's it
house.
called? Yes.
I always think of it as the haunted house.
The Theoretica. Sorry, I had to dredge my memory
Right.
for that.
Very good. I couldn't remember that if you paid me.
There is a bit of a trick to that. Just look at it thoroughly, and you can easily do it solo. In fact, you probably do. Now, you probably easily do it solo, regardless. But yes. Yeah, the rest of it, yeah. And I certainly have got it solo. So it's well worth doing. The haunted house, as Jill said.
Yes, I love it. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
All right. Were there any other questions?
Looking. Just reading back what was written. Swadarissa mentioned an anecdote about some in her guild where they had some players with issues that made it difficult for them to get through operations or do any kind of farm group play. And so, yeah, you've just got to play as much of the game as you can. As I think Sir Salisbury said, at your own pace. But the more of it that is 100% soloable, the better.
All right.
As long as it's got a mix of solo and group, I don't mind.
Yes, let us not forget the MMO bits. Operations.
Yep. Well, let's see what happens tomorrow. Let's see what happens when it drops, and see if they mention new flashpoints, new operations, new group content of other kinds. Who knows?
Exactly.
Yeah. And of course, we'll also be keeping an eye out for. It does seem to be chapter style, most likely, but how are they going to do it? Is it just going to be one chapter at a time? Are they going to do several chapters up front, like they did for Kotfi? So that it's not just all about the figuring out what the story is, because they're not going to really tell us anything about the story too much. They're gonna give us a bit of an overview, I'm sure. Just hit a few high points, but they can't get into the details of the story. That's the last thing they're going to do. But
so new systems, if any, other changes they're going to make, and indeed how they're going to deliver the story.
Right. Hopefully confirm. I'm assuming that they'll confirm that there'll be 5 new levels that everyone's speculating on, but hasn't been confirmed. All that good stuff.
Oh, hopefully.
Didn't they hint in the last producer show that they did that they were looking are making changes, or possibly some sort of change to how regular the content comes out, and that it might not all be once a month. It might be a bit more than that.
Yes, or make it so it's like Netflix, where you get the entire season of episodes in one fell swoop. And so, but how does that work with being a subscriber? Don't know. We'll find out tomorrow, no doubt, and talk all about it next week.
Very exciting. All right, then that's a show. If you'd like to play with us in the Utini Knights Guild on the Republic side of the Harbinger server, or in our Guild on the Empire side, do a /c join Utini to join the Utini channel. Then let us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to OotiniCast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter using @OotiniCast. You can find contact details for all of us on our website, OotiniCast.com, which includes how to subscribe to us using iTunes, Stitcher, and the rest. We record the show live every Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Pacific. Go to OotiniCast.com/live to find out how to join in. Our theme song is Doomsday by Jean-Paul Zogby. And thank you to the chat room, and thank you to Blay.
Cheers, guys. Always a pleasure. Always fun.
And we'll see you next week.
Guessing we used an old Hypnotoad Utini Rage.
That'd be fun.
I've done that at least once. Thank you everyone for watching. We will be back next week with all about Kotet. So if you have any reactions that you'd like to send to us, please do. Email or tweets or whatever once you see the announcement tomorrow. So we'll go through all that. So I'm really interested to see what the community thinks about it and how you all react.
Cool.
All right, guys. Thank you again for watching, and may the force be with you. We'll serve you well. Take us. Stop the broadcast, please, Joe.
Stopping it now.